Hello and welcome back to our videos. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the HTTP element. With the HTTP element, you would be able to send and receive data from a third-party platform. There are a lot of use cases for this, and I'm going to show you a few of them. Using the HTTP element, you would be able to build a weather bot. You can also connect it to Zapier, to Integromat, to Public Connect, and so much more. You can even build an online ticketing system such as airlines, bus, and etc. You can also send inspirational quotes, jokes, and others. And you may also build an e-commerce customer support using the HTTP element. So as you can see, with the HTTP element, you can have more power and customizability inside of your bot. But before we build our chatbot, let me explain first what we are going to build. So we are going to be building a simple bot that sends inspirational quotes to our subscribers. And we are going to call this flow as the inspirational quotes bot. In the very first part of our bot, we are going to create an HTTP element. And what this HTTP element does is it will request data from a third-party API, and that third party is Quotable.io. Quotable is a free API where we can get random inspirational quotes. So after sending our request, Quotable would respond with a random quote, and we are going to get that data and save that quote on a custom variable. So it would require us to create a custom variable. And after saving that quote or that data on our custom variable, we are going to send that data to Messenger using the text element. So let me review the process for you. First is we are going to build an HTTP element, and that HTTP element would get data from Quotable.io. And once we get that data, we're going to save that data on our custom variable and then display that custom variable on Messenger by using the text element. So if you're ready, then let us go. All right, we are now going to build our inspirational bot. So before we build, we need to create a custom variable. So go to custom variables and then create a new variable. Let's name this variable as my quote. So this custom variable would store the data or the quote that we get from Quotable.io. So let's confirm this. And after creating our custom variable, we can now create a new flow. We're going to name this flow as Inspirational Quotes Bot. Next, we are going to build our first element, and that element is HTTP element. And also, to make it easier for us to do test, we're going to add a trigger and use the keyword as the option. For the trigger keyword, we can use inspire me and then click OK. So we can now configure our HTTP element. Let's add a label here. So we are going to use get quote as our label for this HTTP element and click here to configure. In order to configure our HTTP element, we would need a request URL. The request URL would be provided by your API provider. In this case, our API provider is Quotable.io, and this API would provide us with random quotes. So here we can see the production API, and this is the URL that we are going to use. So copy and paste it on our request URL. All right, next is we are going to use a path. So this is the random path code that we are going to use. We are going to copy that and paste it on our HTTP request. All right, after pasting the API path, we can now send a request. To send a test request, all you have to do is click the test request button, and then we will be prompted to provide a subscriber data. So what you're going to do here is you're going to search for the subscriber name of the Facebook profile that you are using during testing. So let's say that I'm going to search for Calvin because this is the Facebook profile that I keep on using when I am testing my flows. So here I choose the result and I continue. And after that, we will get the map response. So the subscriber data will only be asked the first time you send a test request. But on the succeeding test request, we will not be prompted to provide the subscriber data again because the system will simply reuse that subscriber we provided as the source of our test data. And after that, we now got a response. You would know that your requests have a response if you see the red tick mark on the map response button. So now let's click map response button and you should be able to see the data here. The next step would be to choose what data you need to store. So in this case, the quote is under the content data. So as you can see here, this is the quote. So select this data. And next is select what custom variable you're going to use to store this data. In this case, I'm going to use my quote. Remember, this is the custom variable that we created just before creating this flow. And now, after mapping our response data, we are going to click the Add button. If you do not click the Add button, then your response map would not be added and it will not work. After adding, we can now confirm the changes. The next step would be to send this data to Messenger by using a text element. So let's connect a text element here and let's configure this. For this, we are going to add the custom variable that we have created earlier, the my quote. Remember that this is where we stored the quote. So let's add this and let's add a few statements here. Okay, so this is my statement. This is your inspirational quote. And then add the quote custom variable here and then confirm the changes. The next step is we are going to save and send a test. Great, we now saved our flow. Let's go to Messenger and then let's send a test by typing the inspire me keyword. And as you can see, we now received a new inspirational quote. And if we try to trigger our flow again, we should be able to receive another inspirational quote. All right, this is another inspirational quote. So that is how you get data and display data to Messenger using the HTTP element. On the next video, we're going to try to post this inspirational quote to our Facebook page. To do that, we are going to use the Marketing Master IO public API and Facebook public API. So if you want to learn that, then stay tuned on the next video.